Forget monthly payments and bank loans. We found 18 motorcycles cheaper than a used iPhone that simply refuse to die. These are 18 budget legends. These bikes are so incredibly durable, they treat oil changes as mere suggestions. They simply refuse to die. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which bulletproof bargain belongs in your garage, ready to run forever and forgiving for your knees and back. Number 18, the Kawasaki Ninja 500R. We are starting with the cockroach of the sport bike world. If there is a nuclear apocalypse, only two things will survive: Keith Richards and the Kawasaki Ninja 500. Produced virtually unchanged from 1987 to 2009, this bike is the definition of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It features a 498 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine that is liquid cooled and bulletproof. It makes about 51 horsepower, which is enough to hit 120 miles per hour, but it is docile enough for a beginner. The styling is stuck in the 90s, with a square headlight and analog gauges, but that is part of the charm. The fairing protects you from the wind, and the upright riding position saves your wrists. The original price was around $5,000. Today, you can find a running example for $1,500 to $2,000. It is the cheapest way to get into sport riding without buying a grenade. The only thing that kills these is neglect, and even then, they usually start up after a carb clean. If you prefer a lower seat height and the rumble of a V-twin, then there's a Japanese cruiser that was built like a tank. Number 17, the Yamaha Virago 750. Before the V-Star, there was the Virago. This was Yamaha's first serious attempt at a V-twin cruiser, and they over-engineered it to an insane degree. This bike is unique because it uses the engine as a stressed member of the frame, which looks cool and saves weight. It features a 748 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin. It has a shaft drive. I repeat, a shaft drive on a budget cruiser. That means no chain maintenance, no adjusting, no grease. You just ride. It is famous for its starter motor that sounds like a box of rocks being shaken, but don't worry, it always starts eventually. Originally selling for around $4,500 in the 80s and 90s, you can pick these up today for under $2,000 all day long. It is comfortable, it has that classic chopper profile with the teardrop tank, and the engine is virtually unkillable. Just keep an eye on the starter clutch, and this bike will outlive you. For those who want something completely different, a machine that looks like a scooter but rides like a tour, the next entry is a cult classic. Number 16. The Honda Pacific Coast 800. They call it the PC 800. They also call it the Tupperware bike. Honda designed this specifically for car drivers who wanted to try motorcycling. It is completely encased in plastic. You cannot see the engine. You cannot see the frame. But underneath that plastic lies one of the best engines Honda ever made. It features an 800 cubic centimeter V-twin derived from the legendary Shadow but tuned for smoothness. It has a trunk, not saddlebags, an actual trunk integrated into the rear bodywork that opens like a car boot. You can fit 2 full-face helmets or 4 bags of groceries in there. It is liquid-cooled, shaft-driven, and features hydraulic valve adjusters. That means zero maintenance. You just change the oil and ride. These bikes regularly hit 150,000 miles. Originally priced around $7,000, you can find a pristine one now for $3,000. It is the ultimate commuter and stealth tour. If plastic fairings aren't your style, and you crave mechanical simplicity, I know a bike that's as basic as a hammer and just as durable. Number 15, the Suzuki GS500. This is the anvil of the motorcycle world. Suzuki built the GS500 for decades, and it remained remarkably primitive the entire time. It is an air-cooled parallel twin. It has 2 valves per cylinder. It has carburetors. It is the motorcycle equivalent of a hammer. It makes about 51 horsepower. It isn't fast. It isn't sophisticated, but it is tough. It was the training bike for millions of riders, which means it has been dropped, crashed, and abused more than any other machine, and it keeps running. The frame is a sturdy steel box section that handles surprisingly well. Prices? Dirt cheap. You can find a running GS500 for $1,500. Parts are everywhere. If you want to learn how to wrench on a bike, this is your classroom. It is impossible to mess up because there is nothing complicated to break. For riders who demand German precision without the modern complexity, the next bike is a 3-cylinder masterpiece known as the Flying Brick. Number 14. The BMW K75, the Flying Brick. In the 80s and 90s, BMW decided to build a triple. But being BMW, they laid the engine flat on its side. This lowered the center of gravity and created a straight line for the drive shaft. The K75 features a 740 cubic centimeter inline 3 engine. It is fuel-injected Bosch Ligatronic, which was space-age technology at the time. It makes 75 horsepower, but the magic is the smoothness. It has no vibration. It feels like an electric motor. These bikes were used by police forces all over Europe, meaning they are built to idle for hours and chase bad guys at high speeds. They regularly go over 200,000 miles. A new one cost a fortune, around $6,000 in the 80s, but today, you can grab a decent Flying Brick for $3,000. It is the cheapest way to look sophisticated. If sophisticated isn't your vibe and you prefer raw American-style torque, but built in Ohio, there is a bike known as a legend of longevity. Number 13. The Honda Shadow 1100. This is the big daddy of the metric cruisers. Built in Marysville, Ohio, this bike was Honda's answer to the Harley Big Twin. And frankly, from a reliability standpoint, it crushed it. It features a 1,099 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin. It has hydraulic valve lifters, no adjustments needed. It has a shaft drive. It makes a massive torque right off idle. The Spirit and Sabre models look fantastic, with dragged-out styling and plenty of chrome. The engine is understressed. It could probably make double the horsepower, but Honda tuned it for longevity. You will see these with 6-figure mileage all the time. Originally costing around $8,000 in the 90s, you can find them now for $2,500. It is a massive amount of metal for the money. For those who need to cover massive distances with sport bike speed, the next machine is a continent crusher that completely redefined the sport touring class. Number 12. The Kawasaki Concours ZG1000. This is the working man's sport tourer. Kawasaki took the engine from the Ninja 1000, a screaming superbike motor, and dropped it into a touring chassis with hard bags and a massive fairing. It features a 997 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes nearly 100 horsepower. It has a shaft drive. It has a massive 7.5-gallon gas tank, giving you a range of nearly 300 miles. This bike stayed in production virtually unchanged from 1986 to 2006. Why? Because it worked. It is fast, comfortable, and reliable. It is a bit top-heavy, so watch your footing at stoplights. But once it is moving, it is a cruise missile. Originally priced around $8,500, these are now absurdly cheap. You can find a road-ready Concours for $2,000. It is the best dollar per mile value on the planet. If you prefer that superbike power without the heavy fairings, there's one that strips it down to the essentials and delivers pure adrenaline. Number 11. The Yamaha FZ1 Gen 1. This is the bike for the person who wants R1 performance but has a bad back. Yamaha took the engine from the legendary R1, retuned it slightly for mid-range torque, and stuffed it into a comfortable tubular steel frame. It features a 998 cubic centimeter inline 4 with 5 valves per cylinder. It makes 143 horsepower. It is fast, terrifyingly fast, but it has handlebars instead of clip-ons. It has a comfortable seat. The Gen 1, manufactured until 2005, is the one to get because it still has carburetors, which give it a smooth, jerky-free throttle response that the early fuel-injected models lacked. The engine is bulletproof. The transmission is solid. Originally $7,500, you can find these rockets for $3,500. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing. For riders who want the look of a modern muscle cruiser without the modern price tag, the next bike is a hidden gem. Number 10. The Suzuki Boulevard M50/C50. Suzuki rebranded their Volusia line to Boulevard in the mid-2000s, and they created a monster of value. They split the personality in two. The M50 is the muscle cruiser with drag bars and inverted forks, while the C50 is the classic cruiser with deep balanced fenders and floorboards. But do not let the different looks fool you. Under the skin, they are the same reliable beast. It features a rock-solid 805 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled 45-degree V-twin. Crucially, it has fuel injection on the Boulevard models. This means no choking it on cold mornings, no fiddling with carbs, and perfect throttle response every time. It also features a shaft drive. In a budget class dominated by messy chains, this is a huge luxury. It keeps your rear wheel clean and your maintenance time near zero. Physically, it looks much bigger than an 800cc bike. It has the visual presence of a liter bike, fooling onlookers into thinking you spent twice as much. The engine is known for being absolutely trouble-free. It isn't a horsepower powerhouse that will rip your arms off, but it has plenty of torque to cruise at highway speeds comfortably all day long. It handles surprisingly well for a cruiser, scraping floorboards with confidence, and has very low maintenance requirements. It is a bike you buy to ride, not to fix. The original MSRP was around $7,000, which was a deal back then. But today, you can find clean examples for $3,000. It is the perfect intermediate cruiser that won't leave you stranded on the side of the road. If a standard V-twin isn't exciting enough, there's a cruiser that borrows its heart from a legendary sport bike to deliver V4 performance. Number 9. The Honda Magna 750. This is not your average cruiser. This is a power cruiser. In the 90s, Honda took the V4 engine from their VFR Interceptor, a race-bred engine, and put it in a low-slung cruiser chassis. It features a 748 cubic centimeter V4 engine. It has 4 pipes. It sounds like a muscle car. It spins to almost 10,000 RPM. Most cruisers run out of breath at 5,000. The Magna is just clearing its throat. It makes 87 horsepower. It smokes Harleys. It smokes other metric cruisers. And because it is a Honda V4 with a chain drive, it is incredibly efficient and reliable. The carbs can be a pain to clean because there are 4 of them crammed in a V, but if you ride it regularly, they stay clean. You can pick up a 3rd-generation Magna for $3,500. It is a sleeper. Nobody expects a cruiser to move that fast. For those who believe there is no replacement for displacement, you're wrong because one bike brings both massive torque and classic styling. Number 8. The Kawasaki Vulcan 1500. There is no replacement for displacement. For a long time, this was the biggest V-twin you could buy. It is a massive, lumbering beast that eats highway miles for breakfast. It features a 1,470 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin. It makes massive torque. It has a shaft drive. It has hydraulic valve adjusters. It is designed to be low maintenance. There is one flaw: the famous plastic oil gear, POG, in the very early models, but by the late 90s and 2000s, Kawasaki fixed it with a steel gear. Once that is sorted, this engine is a tank. It is comfortable, spacious, and has that classic heavy cruiser feel. Originally $11,000, you can find these behemoths for $3,000. It is the most engine you can buy for the least amount of money. If you want the perfect balance of size and handling in a cruiser, the next bike is widely considered the gold standard of the midsize class. Number 7. The Yamaha V-Star 1100. This bike is the sweet spot. It isn't as heavy as the Vulcan 1500, but it has way more guts than the 650. It is widely considered one of the best midsize cruisers ever built. It features a 1,063 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin. It looks classic. It has a shaft drive. The only quirky maintenance item is that you have to remove the exhaust to change the oil filter. Other than that, it is flawless. The starter clutch can sometimes be a weak point if you crank it with a low battery, but keep your battery charged and it will last forever. It handles well, sounds great with aftermarket pipes, and parts are available everywhere. You can find a clean V-Star 1100 for $2,500 to $3,000. It is the gold standard of used cruisers. Quick question: did or do you own one of these bikes? And what is your experience with it? Tell me in the comments. I want to see who the real iron butt riders are. Now let's get back to the hooligans. The next bike defined the street fighter genre before it was even a marketing term, offering insane power for a budget price. Number 6. The Suzuki Bandit 1200. This is the machine that defined the street fighter genre before it was even a marketing term. This is the motorcycle that proves you do not need liquid cooling or complex electronics to make serious power. Suzuki took the legendary engine from the GSXR 1100, the famous oil-cooled monster known for dominating drag strips, bored it out to a massive 1,157 cubic centimeters, and stuffed it into a standard steel tube frame. It produces a respectable 98 horsepower on paper, but the horsepower is a lie. The torque is the star of the show. It pulls like a freight train from idle. It is widely acknowledged as a wheelie machine. The wheelbase is short enough and the grunt is violent enough that the front wheel is purely optional in the first 3 gears. The engine is arguably one of the strongest ever manufactured. You can tune it to make 150 horsepower with simple modifications, and the bottom end won't even sweat. It is simple, robust, and incredibly fun. It is comfortable enough to tour on all day, but wild enough to get you arrested in a school zone. Originally selling for around $8,000, you can find a Gen 1 or Gen 2 Bandit for a laughable $3,000. It is the best bang-for-buck performance bike on this list. If you prioritize comfort and wind protection above all else, the next machine is a touring legend used by police forces around the globe. Number 5, the Honda ST 1100. Before this 1300, there was this 1100 Pan-European. This machine was engineered to cross Europe in a single day. It is smooth, quiet, and deceptively fast. It features a unique 1,085 cubic centimeter V4 engine mounted longitudinally, similar to a Moto Guzzi. It has a shaft drive for zero maintenance. It carries a massive 7.4-gallon fuel tank, meaning you can ride for hours without stopping. This motorcycle is legendary for high mileage. It is common to see them with 150,000 or even 200,000 miles on the clock. The timing belt needs changing every 90,000 miles, but other than that, it is maintenance-free. It even features genius tip-over wings that protect the plastic bodywork if you accidentally drop it in a parking lot. You can find these mile munchers for $2,500. It is a luxury tourer for the price of a scooter. For those seeking the perfect all-rounder, a bike that can commute, tour, and track day, there could only be one cult classic that does it all. Number 4, the Suzuki SV650. This is a genuine cult classic for a reason. Introduced in 1999, the SV650 is universally loved by beginners, experts, and club racers alike. It features a bulletproof 645 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin engine. It makes about 70 horsepower, but it is the character of the engine that makes it special. It delivers a broad power band, a glorious sound, and perfect fueling. It is brilliantly simple. The frame is aluminum on the Gen 2 or a steel trellis on Gen 1 and 3. It handles beautifully. It is lightweight. It is the answer to almost every motorcycle question. What should I buy? SV650. What track bike should I build? SV650. It does everything well without complaining. You can find a Gen 1 curvy frame for $2,000 or a Gen 2 pointy frame fuel-injected for $3,000. It is the most fun you can have on 2 wheels for that price. And now, the top 3. These are the unkillables, the machines that will be running when the sun expands and consumes the earth. But before we ride into the sunset, let us know, what bike do you want in your garage? Number 3, the Kawasaki KLR650. This is the cockroach of the motorcycle world. The KLR650 is not fast. It is not pretty. It vibrates like a blender, but it goes anywhere and it never dies. It features a rugged 651 cubic centimeter single-cylinder engine. It is liquid-cooled and remained essentially unchanged from 1987 all the way to 2018. It is the tractor of the motorcycle world. There is only one mechanical weak point you need to know about, the famous doohickey. This is the balancer chain adjuster lever inside the engine. The factory installed a cheap part that can break over time. But here's the beauty. You buy a $30 aftermarket part, swap it out in an afternoon, and the bike becomes immortal. It becomes indestructible. It holds a massive 6 gallons of gasoline, giving you incredible range. It can be fixed with a rock and some duct tape in the middle of the desert. It is the chosen vehicle for round-the-world adventurers on a budget. You will often see them with a plastic milk crate strapped to the back rack. That is the official luggage of the KLR owner. You can find them for $3,000. It is the ultimate apocalypse vehicle. If you want reliability but prefer the smoothness of 4 cylinders for the street, the next bike is the definition of low-maintenance riding. Number 2, the Honda Nighthawk 750. This is the definition of the standard motorcycle. In 1991, Honda released the Nighthawk 750, and they made a revolutionary decision. Let's build a machine that the owner never has to touch. They succeeded. It features a bulletproof 747 cubic centimeter, air-cooled inline-4 engine. But here is the genius part that separates it from everything else. It has hydraulic valve lifters. Most motorcycles require expensive and tedious valve adjustments every 15,000 miles. The Nighthawk, never. It adjusts itself automatically while you ride. It features an automatic cam chain tensioner. It has an oil cooler. It is air-cooled, meaning there is no radiator to leak and no water pump to fail. It produces a respectable 75 horsepower. It is smooth, linear, and predictable. It isn't the most exciting bike in the world, but it is undoubtedly the most faithful. It starts every single time you press the button. It runs smoothly regardless of the weather. It handles competently. It is the perfect daily rider for someone who hates mechanics. It represents the pinnacle of UJMs, Universal Japanese Motorcycles. You can buy one for $2,500. It is the smartest money you can spend on 2 wheels. But there is one bike that combines Honda's legendary build quality with exotic engineering and soul. The number 1 unkillable legend. Number 1, the Honda VFR 750 and 800. This is it, the holy grail, the high watermark of Honda engineering. The VFR Interceptor is widely considered one of the best motorcycles ever built by anyone, anywhere. If you want to know what perfection feels like, you need to ride this machine. Why is it legendary? Because of the cams. The VFR 750, produced until 1997, and the early VFR 800, 1998 to 2001, feature gear-driven cams. Listen to the engine. It doesn't just rumble, it whines like a jet turbine taxiing on a runway. That is the sound of a cascade of precision gears spinning the camshafts. It is a mechanical symphony. Why gears? Because gears never stretch like a chain. They never break. They never need tensioner replacements. They are incredibly precise. This system allows the V4 engine to spin freely and create power that is smooth as silk. It is bulletproof. These bikes routinely go over 100,000 miles with nothing but oil changes. They are marathon runners in track shoes. The V4 engine provides the torque of a twin and the horsepower of a 4. It is the perfect compromise. The build quality is insane. This was Honda at their peak. The paint is thick and lustrous. The fasteners are high quality and resist corrosion. The single-sided swing arm looks exotic, derived from racing, and makes tire changes easy. They are sport tourers that can hang with sport bikes in the corners and tourers on the highway. They are the perfect balance of performance and longevity. Originally costing upwards of $10,000, you can now find a gear-driven cam VFR for $3,500. It is an engineering masterpiece that you can buy for the price of a used scooter. Don't get enough of motorcycles? Click this video right here. Go on, click it. I'll see you there. And if this guide helped you save some cash, hit that like button and subscribe for more bike wisdom.